I wish that I could have knocked him out at the start. But as we saw, he came to my ears and whispered, "Please be easy on me." He thought I'm Mike Tyson and I will follow his script 40 seconds after I broke the clown's jaw. We are boxers, not content creators. I wish that I could have knocked him out at the start. But as we saw, I didn't want to put him down early. You all know I was handcuffed. I don't want to say anything that I will be regretting in the future. But all I can say now is the first 20 seconds was enough for me to end Jake Paul.
It's like this is the clearest fixed fight you're ever gonna see. Look at this guy holding his hands up and watch. Look at that. He literally shows him his chin and he goes down. It's so fake. Look at him, he's got nothing. It's like a guy who just learned boxing.
The day after I woke up and told my wife, "Why did I do that?" I don't know. I just don't know what the hell goes on. I remember one thing, I had a very hard moment in that part of my life, but I assure you in that age, I could have put that clown in the first round, but I sold my soul. And I'm
a guy who just had a boxing match that looks like a sparring match with a 58-year-old Mike Tyson. And then you're gonna fight one of the absolute scariest knockout artists in the heavyweight division.
I keep replaying that moment over and over, and each time it hits harder. This wasn't just a fighter taking a hit, it was an entire business model crashing into reality at full speed. When that happens, people don't rush to tell the truth. They rush to protect power, influence, and leverage. You can feel it in the silences, in what isn't being said. If everything were clean, there'd be no hesitation, no careful wording, no hedging. Yet all we hear is noise, loud, constant noise meant to drown out the quiet questions that just won't go away.
That guy did great for someone who's been boxing for less than a decade. He has had no real professional opponents other than Tommy Fury that were legitimate world-class boxers.
I don't even remember what happened in the Tommy.
He lost a close decision, but it was a good fight. It was a good fight, though.
Here's my honest take, and yeah, it's uncomfortable. Jake Paul didn't build a real boxing career. He built a controlled environment. And controlled environments only survive until someone refuses to play along. Anthony Joshua refusing wasn't heroic, it was simply normal. And that's exactly why it caused chaos. Normal is dangerous to a system built on exceptions. The moment Joshua treated him like any other opponent, the whole experiment collapsed. That alone tells you everything about what this entire setup really was.
Oh no, I don't remember the fight that much. I kind of blanked out a little. Listen, know what I remember? Coming back from the first round, and then the next day I remember Jake is doing some kind of, I don't know, what was he doing at the ring?
Oh yeah, a little bow at the end, he bowed.
And that's the last thing I remember. But the day after the fight, the day after I woke up and told my wife, "Why did I do that?" I don't know. I just don't know what the hell goes on.
What did you think of Jake's power, man, when you were in there?
I don't remember it, but my body was really sore. Yeah, my body, my chest, my stomach and stuff was really sore.
People keep praising bravery, and sure, stepping into the ring takes guts. But bravery without wisdom? That's just liability. And liability is what networks protect against, not the fighters. That's where it gets uncomfortable. Someone approved this fight knowing the risks, knowing the gaps, knowing exactly what could happen. And where approval exists, responsibility exists. Right now, that responsibility is being dodged. You can feel it in how the conversation keeps getting pushed toward toughness instead of accountability.
It's also nuts, right? Just the fact that he's willing to fight the two-time heavyweight champion, former Olympic gold medalist.
Yeah.
A guy who's gigantic in his prime, built like a Greek god.
Yeah.
And you're going to stand, and he's a one-punch killer. And you're going to stand in front of that?
Joe Rogan, discussing this moment, brought up what had become clear from Joshua's performance.
When Joe Rogan broke down this moment, it highlighted something crucial about Joshua's performance. Don't get it twisted, the injury matters, but the precedent matters even more. Once a brand tests itself against elite-level violence, you can't unsee the result. Every influencer fight from now on exists in Joshua's shadow, and that shadow is long, dark, and unforgiving. Promoters know it too, because plausible deniability is gone. They can't claim the ceiling is unknown anymore. We saw the ceiling, it's concrete, and someone hit it headfirst.
It's you could only take so much. And at a certain, like that one that he got from Joshua, say if you have like a punch card, you have like so many punches that you can get in your life, which I believe you do. I believe there's a certain number. That one was like 10 bunches.
Yeah.
That was like, there was a lot of concussions in that one punch.
Sure.
That was real damage.
What bothers me most isn't the knockout itself. It's how predictable everything afterward was. Not the punch, but the fallout. Boxing history is full of moments where entertainment pushed too far and paid the price later. Those moments always follow the same path: laughter, curiosity, concern, and finally regret. Right now, we're stuck squarely between concern and regret. And the regret phase is when the real stories surface, when people quietly distance themselves and start rewriting timelines. I don't buy that everyone involved was naive. That's insulting. These are professionals. They understand force. They understand damage. They understand risk. That means the gamble was intentional. And intentional gambles always assume someone is going to absorb a loss. I keep asking myself, who was supposed to lose here? Because it clearly wasn't meant to look like this. Not this definitive, not this final. That gap between expectation and outcome is where truth usually leaks. The Tyson angle still gnaws at me. Memory loss isn't a throwaway line. It's a flare. And flares aren't fired by accident. Whether physical, psychological, or something more complex, it adds an uneasy layer that was never resolved, just buried under hype. Joshua's knockout reopened that grave. And once graves are reopened, the question immediately follows: who put the body there in the first place?
In pain?
Yeah, but
Does it hurt
it's not from like talking.
Talk to me about what your jaw feels like, because you got
It's like a baseball in there.
two
And then-
plates?
It just feels like
4 titanium plates?
4 titanium
I
plates.
also
How many
think
do you have?
fans are
Just one.
underestimating how
8
much
screws. 8
Behind the scenes, pros watch tape differently. They don't see drama, they see timing, distance, intent. What they saw here was someone realizing too late that the rules had changed. That realization is terrifying because it exposes an imaginary safety net. And imaginary safety nets are how careers end abruptly. Rogan's tone shifted for a reason, and it wasn't about morality, it was recognition. He's seen enough damage to know when something crosses from sport into a warning sign. His call to retire wasn't about Jake Paul specifically, it was about preventing the next headline, the one nobody wants. And if you think that headline hasn't already been imagined by the people in suits, you're kidding yourself. They plan for worst-case scenarios for a living. What we're seeing now is reputation management in real time. Calm on the surface, frantic underneath. The longer clear answers take, the more suspicious it becomes. Clarity should be simple if everything were straightforward, but nothing here feels straightforward. It's layered, negotiated, filtered, and that's never a good sign. Joshua's role isn't as a villain or hero, he's an accelerant. He didn't create the problem, he exposed it faster than expected. Exposure is dangerous because it removes control. Control was the real currency here, over opponents, narratives, outcomes. And Joshua took that control away with a single punch. Control rarely surrenders peacefully. Some will shrug and say, it's just boxing. Injuries happen. That's lazy thinking. Context matters. And this context was soaked in marketing language promising legitimacy without earning it. When marketing outruns reality, someone pays the price. Here, the bill came due in bone and metal, and now it's being passed around, hoping someone else picks it up. I don't think Jake Paul is evil. He's a product, and products get pushed until they break. And when products break, the manufacturer blames the user. The user blames the environment. The environment blames chance. And suddenly, chance becomes the convenient scapegoat. But chance doesn't schedule fights, people do. People make decisions, and decisions have consequences, even when nobody wants to own them. There's also a chilling effect coming, and you can already feel it. Fighters will think twice. Commissions will ask tougher questions. Insurers will raise eyebrows. Suddenly, easy money doesn't look so easy. And when the easy money dries up, loyalty evaporates. That's when stories start changing. I guarantee you, some of the praise we heard before will quietly turn into distance. Fans aren't stupid. They might enjoy spectacle, but they respect authenticity. Joshua delivered authenticity in its rawest, purest form. Once fans taste that, it's impossible to sell them a watered-down version. And that creates a serious problem for anyone whose business depends on blurring the lines, because the line has now been permanently redrawn.
I'm just hoping after this Floyd fight, maybe we can have a rematch. He did well, but I want to try it again.
Is that something that you would be interested in terms of righting the wrong and knocking him
I
out?
would be interested. Yes, I would. I would be interested in that.
Mike Tyson himself, in the wake of Joshua's knockout, began.
Mike Tyson himself, after Joshua's knockout, said he kept replaying it in his mind. And the more he replayed it, the worse it felt. Because this wasn't just a fighter getting hurt. This was a business model crashing headfirst into reality. And when that happens, people don't rush to be honest. They rush to protect leverage. You can feel that protection happening right now in everything that isn't being said. Because if this were clean, there'd be no pause, no careful wording, no hedging. Instead, all we're hearing is noise. Loud noise designed to bury the quiet questions that refuse to disappear. Here's my honest take, and yeah, it's uncomfortable. Jake Paul didn't build a traditional boxing career. He built a controlled environment. And controlled environments only survive until someone refuses to play along. Joshua refusing wasn't heroic. It was normal. And that's exactly why it caused panic. Normal is dangerous to a system built on exceptions. The moment Joshua treated him like any other opponent, the entire experiment fell apart. And that tells you everything about what this really was. People keep talking about bravery, and sure, stepping into the ring takes guts. But bravery without wisdom is liability. And liability is what networks insure against, not fighters. That's where things get unsettling. Because someone approved this knowing the gap, knowing the risk, knowing the possible outcome. And where approval exists, responsibility exists. That responsibility is being dodged right now. You can hear it in how the conversation keeps shifting toward toughness instead of judgment. Don't get it twisted, the injury matters. But the precedent matters more. Because once a brand tests itself against elite violence, the result can't be unseen. Every influencer fight that comes after this now exists in Joshua's shadow. And that shadow isn't kind. It's long, heavy, and unforgiving. Promoters know it too, because they just lost plausible deniability. They can't pretend the ceiling is unknown anymore. We saw it. The ceiling is solid, and someone ran into it at full speed. What unsettles me most is how predictable this all was. Not the knockout, but what followed. Boxing history is filled with moments where entertainment pushed past its limits and paid the price later. Those moments always follow the same pattern. First laughter, then curiosity, then concern, and finally regret. Right now, we're stuck between concern and regret. And regret is the phase where real stories start surfacing, where people quietly step back and timelines get rewritten. I don't buy the idea that everyone involved was naive. That's insulting. These are professionals. They understand force. They understand damage. They understand risk curves. Which means this gamble wasn't accidental. It was intentional. And intentional gambles come with expected losses. So I keep asking myself, who was supposed to lose here? Because it clearly wasn't meant to look like this. Not this clean. Not this final. And it's in that gap between expectation and outcome where truth usually slips out. The Tyson angle still nags at me. Memory loss isn't a throwaway comment. It's a signal. And signals don't get sent by accident. Whether it was physical, psychological, or something more complex, it introduced an unease that never got addressed. It was just buried under hype. Joshua's knockout dug it back up. And once graves reopen, people start asking who put the body there to begin with. I also think fans are underestimating how much this rattled fighters behind the scenes. Pros don't watch fights for drama. They watch timing, distance, intent. And what they saw was someone realizing too late that the rules had changed. That realization is terrifying, because it means the safety net was never real. And imaginary safety nets are how careers end suddenly. There's a reason Rogan's tone shifted. And it wasn't morality. It was recognition. He's seen enough damage to know when something crosses from sport into warning sign. His call for retirement wasn't about Jake Paul. It was about stopping the next headline, the one nobody wants to read. And if you think that headline wasn't already being imagined by people in suits, you're fooling yourself. They plan worst-case scenarios for a living. What we're watching now is reputation management in real time. And reputation management always looks calm on the surface and panicked underneath. The longer it takes for clear answers to show up, the stranger it feels. Because clarity should be easy if everything was clean. But nothing about this feels clean. It feels layered, negotiated, filtered. And that's never a good sign. I keep coming back to Joshua's role, not as a hero or a villain, but as an accelerant. He didn't create the problem. He exposed it faster than intended. Exposure is dangerous because it removes control. And control was the real currency here. Control over opponents. Control over narratives. Control over outcomes. And Joshua took that control away with one punch. Control rarely disappears quietly after that. Some people will shrug and say this is just boxing. Injuries happen. Move on. That's lazy. Context matters. And this context was soaked in marketing language that promised legitimacy without earning it. When marketing outruns reality, someone pays the difference. This time, the bill came due in bone and metal. And now that bill is being passed around, hoping someone else picks it up. I don't think Jake Paul is evil. I think he's a product. And products get pushed until they break. When they break, the manufacturer blames the user. The user blames the environment. The environment blames luck. And luck becomes the convenient excuse. But luck doesn't schedule fights. People do. People make decisions. And decisions come with consequences, even when nobody wants to claim them.